Welcome to another Craftware tutorial video. This video focuses on the setup and use of the Craftbot 3 XL dual head 3D printer. If you're not already familiar with Craftware, please rewatch the video from the Craftbot XL training linked below. Now the first thing you need to do when opening the Craftware software and preparing for a dual head print is go to the options menu. Under the printer tab, change your printer preset to the Craftbot 3. The Craftbot 3 has a larger bed than the Craftbot XL and also features 2 nozzles, so you need to tell the system that that's what you're planning to use. When you press OK, you'll notice that your simulated build platform gets larger and has these 2 colored squares appear. Each one of these colored squares corresponds to one of the printer heads. So your new print area is from the corner of that color to the edge of the green, or vice versa for the opposite side. The nozzle from this side cannot travel all the way to the other side, and vice versa, due to the limitations of the printer. Now just as before, we need to find a model that we can print. Now keeping in mind that we're using 2 different heads, that gives us the option of having 2 different colors or 2 different structures built within it. So using Thingiverse, I'm going to use the Dual Rook 3D Printer Benchmark, which features 2 separate colored pieces printed as one whole piece. Once those parts are downloaded, just as before, click Add and select your 2 pieces to open. Now the printer will automatically lay them on the bed, and in this case it actually laid them correctly with the right orientation. Now assuming that your part did not perfectly orient like this one did, I will now destroy this one just to show you. So suppose your part laid out side by side. To orient this, all you need to do is click on the part and change your X, Y, and Z values down below until your part reaches the correct orientation that you want. If your part keeps snapping to the bed as mine just did, all you need to do is click the auto drop button and it'll stop the part from snapping to the bed every time you click off of it. Now that the part is in the correct orientation, you can move the part around and verify that nothing else is wrong. Now we're going to click Select and select the inner piece. For this instance, I want the inside piece to print using the second head with a different color. As long as you have the Select tab open, down at the bottom, this box will pop open that shows you each part and the indicated color. Just to make it easier, I'm going to change the inside piece to red so you can see the difference. Or I guess the outside piece to red. Either way, it doesn't matter. So now I know that the outside red piece, so I want that to print with the color I have on head 1. To change the second part, all I will do is down here select part number 2, which is still gray, and change it to head number 2. You'll see that it changes colors again, indicating which head is doing what. So now that I have which head prints which piece, I'm going to go to Slice. Now this model doesn't require any support, so I don't need to add it, but if you do, you can always go back and take that step. Now this basic slicing mode will work for the most part, however I'm a little more picky and I want to check on a few other pieces. So I'm going to switch to expert mode. Under the basic, I'm going to leave my infill the same, I'm going to leave my temperatures the same, the extrusion width the same, the walls the same. But over here on the temperatures tab, I'm going to leave the fans enabled and I'm going to verify the head temperature. Now these machines like to use 205 degrees Celsius with this material. So I am going to make that change. On the dual extruder tab, you have a few more options you can change. You can either select to use head 1 more than head 2 or head 2 more than head 1, or simply minimize the number of changes to reduce your print time. The elevation, exit retract, enter retract you shouldn't need to change. However, you do want to use the wiper strip as it will reduce the residue that is drooled out of the nozzle. You'll also want to use a head preparation, which simply refeeds the nozzle a little bit of material. 3 millimeters is typically enough. There's also the option of a prime pillar. What this does is create a small cylinder that essentially helps to reprime the nozzle as it prints. Now typically a cylinder is fine, and 20 millimeters is way too large for a tower. Now it is going to continuously print this little tower all the way up as you go, so just keep that in mind when looking at your print times and the thickness of this. Your processing is whether you want the fill to be hollow or solid, nothing crazy or different there. and this processing relates to the prime pillar, so not the actual material. So typically a hollow one's going to have 3 printed layers as shown here, and then it's just going to keep a hollow cavity on the outside. Once your part is ready, click slice, and you'll be able to see how the printer renders the part. So as before, here is that tower that I was speaking of that primes the nozzle, and here is the actual part. Now if you click toolhead, it'll change colors to show you which nozzle is printing which color. And then just as before, if you change your layer, you can also change your line and see which nozzle is printing when, as well as when it changes colors. So there's the prime, now there's the inner piece in one color, there's the prime, there's the outer color. Now dual head printing is unique in that you get to have multiple colors, multiple materials, different kinds of structures. You could find water-soluble filament to do dissolvable structures. Either way, the dual color printers are not as complicated as they may seem, but do require quite a bit of foresight. I'm also going to show you a few other print methods this printer is capable of. If you go back to Objects and select Dual Mode on the right side, you can also do what's called Support Mode, where the part is printed with one nozzle and the support is done with the other nozzle. Parallel Mode, where it will literally print 2 pieces side by side. Again, something you need to think about if you're going to use this print method. There we go. And that's not going to line up anymore, but that's okay. You could also do Mirror Mode, which prints the inverse of that part, so it'll print both pieces at the same time, but this one will be backwards. And then there's backup mode. So because these 3D printers feature a clog detector, it will literally switch to the other nozzle if it detects that it's clogged instead of trying to fix the clog. So this is a brief introduction overview of the Craftbot 3 XL dual head 3D printer. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your lab techs, and I hope you enjoy your 3D printing experience.